I'm the city's gold standard tutor. Just like every other day, I let myself into my client's lake house in the Finger Lakes region for Sophie's session. I only stepped out to use the bathroom, and I saw my husband Chase kissing my employer Vivian into a bedroom. So thrilling, my wife's right next door. In that instant, I realized the man who swore he'd love me forever had already betrayed me. I also realized the little girl I'd been tutoring was my husband's secret daughter. Before we go on, subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Sophie, tutor's going to the restroom. Keep working on the problems by yourself, okay? I stroked the sweet child sitting in front of me. She's my employer's daughter, already in grade school. With all my coaching, her anxiety has faded and she now loves studying. Her grades have soared. Okay, tutor. I opened the door and heard voices drifting up from downstairs. Curious, I leaned over the banister and clapped a hand over my mouth. I watched my husband Chase wrap Vivian, my employer, in his arms. My brain hadn't caught up. I thought I was hallucinating. The next second he carried her, lips bruised and breathless, up the stairs. I ducked behind a console table. Only when their bedroom door clicked shut did I dare move. I inched toward that door, my heart hammering faster with every step. A yard away, I saw it hadn't latched. They'd been too frantic to notice. Through the crack I saw everything. Chase pressing Vivian to the mattress. Vivian tracing his jaw, smiling smoky-eyed. Didn't you say you never come while she's tutoring? What's today? Thrill-seeking. Chase smirked and pinched her waist hard. You invited me. Those photos you sent. What else were they for? Outside, my hands flapped uselessly, knuckles white. Chase had betrayed me. Anger flared. My fingers curled around the knob. Reason 1. I let go and kept listening. And don't let my wife hear. Vivian's grin widened. She hooked her arms around his neck. Relax. Her study room is soundproofed. Your wife can't hear a thing. Good. First time like this, definitely exciting. He bent to kiss her throat. Chase, if Jade found out Sophie is ours, do you think she'd explode? Under her tutoring, Sophie's getting perfect scores. My whole body locked. Sophie is theirs. At last I understood why I'd never met Dad. My husband keeps 2 homes. My thoughts scattered like marbles, but inside the show went on. Don't worry, I've covered every track. She'll never know. I didn't make it to the bathroom. I trudged back to Sophie's room. She ran to me the moment I entered. Tutor, why are you crying? Only then did I feel the tears. I swiped them away with a lame excuse. Just a fleck of dust in my eye. Sweetie, not crying. Oh, okay. She believed me and returned to her desk. I followed, but my eyes stayed on her. Sophie's almost 9. That means Chase and Vivian have been together at least 10 years. Chase and I have known each other 6. He started a family with another woman first, then kept cheating. So why pursue me? Why marry me? Questions stormed my head, but answers no longer mattered. Our 5-year marriage suddenly felt like a punchline. A sharp pain twisted under my ribs. Fresh tears welled. I flicked them away fast. To keep Sophie from noticing, I tilted my head toward the ceiling, blinking hard. Eventually, the clock granted me escape. On my way out, I plucked one of Sophie's hairs and tucked it into my pocket. Wooden. I opened the bedroom door. Vivian lounged in the living room, scrolling through a sitcom. I composed my face as I descended, smiling at the last step. Sophie's mom. I'm off for today. She glanced up. That was when I spotted the necklace twinkling at her throat, identical to mine. I forced myself to close the front door gently. Outside, every spark left my body. In the Uber home, I fingered the silver chain Chase had given me on our anniversary. Sophie had once chirped that her mom had the same one. I'd dismissed it as kid imagination. Now I had to believe it. I'd thought it was one of a kind. How naive. I sighed, burdened with dread, and keyed into our Brooklyn townhouse. Chase met me wearing a gingham apron, spatula in hand. His smile split his face. Wife, you're back. Stay put. Dinner's almost ready. That grin used to melt my fatigue into glitter. Tonight it made me flinch. I didn't know how to answer. I managed a thin okay and sank onto the couch. Watching him whisk and chop twisted my stomach further. I couldn't square this caring man with the one pawing Vivian an hour ago. For years he'd bent to every wish, never raised his voice, filled birthdays with surprises, learned gourmet cooking for me. Only last week we'd started trying for a baby. Could all of that be one elaborate lie? I sat in a daze until he called. Wife, wash up. Let's eat. He'd already plated my usual portion and set out my favorite chopsticks. Every dish was comfort food I loved, yet the smell turned my stomach. I pushed rice around my bowl. Chase noticed, laid a piece of steamed base in my dish. Tired. Wife, not hungry? I looked into his earnest eyes and, for a second, almost believed my memories were the lie. My mouth opened. Sound took forever to come. Chase, is there anything you're hiding from me? I was begging, Tell me. Don't leave me with nothing but ash. Wife, you already noticed. That's the surprise I especially prepared for you. He drew a bracelet from his pocket. His eyes sparkled at me, but the light in mine died completely. He was still choosing to lie, still insisting on deceiving me. At this moment my heart turned ice cold. I was utterly disappointed in the man before me. So, do you like it? Let me put it on for you. He pulled my hand and fastened the bracelet around my wrist. He looked at me as if asking for credit, yet I realized the bracelet was identical to the one on Vivian's wrist. Same old trick. Pretty. I smiled at Chase. I truly understood that pressing the matter now was pointless. That night I lay in bed and sent a message abroad. I've decided. I accept your offer. The reply came quickly. Wonderful. Welcome. And thank you for choosing the University of California, Irvine. A week earlier someone from the UC Irvine had invited me to be an associate professor. It was an opportunity, but going overseas meant leaving Chase. So I had hesitated, even thinking of refusing. Now I had nothing left to hesitate over. Chase came out of the bathroom, slid into bed, and began groping me. I knew what it meant, yet the thought that he had just been with Vivian made me sick. I shoved him away in disgust. Chase hadn't expected it and looked startled. Wife, what's wrong? Today's your fertile window. We're trying for a baby, remember? He lunged again, but I couldn't bear his touch any longer. Besides, a child deserves a home filled with love. Just as I wondered how to refuse, Chase's phone rang. Ring ring ring. I caught the caller ID, one I'd seen countless times. Chase claimed it was from his assistant, but now I suspected it was anything but. He threw me a guilty glance before answering. Hello? What? His eyes flickered in panic. I'll come right away. He hung up and turned to me full of remorse. Wife, something went wrong at work. My assistant needs me to handle it. I'll probably have to pull a late shift tonight. I'm sorry. I can't stay with you. All right, go. Don't overwork yourself. My understanding deepened his guilt. I'm sorry, wife. I'll make it up to you tomorrow. He threw on his clothes in a flurry and rushed out. How many times had he dashed off after that same call? I'd actually believed him. I'd even thought he worked late for our family. Instead of anger, I'd felt sorry for him. Turns out it was for another family. Tears rolled down again, pathetic and unstoppable. Deep into the night my eyes were still open. I glanced at my phone, past 2 a.m. As expected, he hadn't come back. Only then did I notice the unread DMs on WhatsApp. I opened it to see Vivian's new Instagram post. The photo showed Sophie cradled in someone's arms while Vivian flashed a heart sign. The one holding Sophie was Chase. The caption read, "My little sweetheart only wanted to play, so her devoted daddy took her out until midnight." Sure enough, assistant was Vivian. His earlier panic had been mere theater. Another lie. I looked closer and Vivian's ring was exactly the same as mine. I gave a cold laugh. I slipped off the ring I'd always worn, along with the bracelet and necklace, and tossed them all into the trash. To me they were nothing but garbage now. When I lay down again I felt strangely light. At last I drifted into deep sleep. I woke almost at 9. The space beside me was still empty. I ignored it, washed and dressed as usual, and left. First I went to a Los Angeles hospital to submit the hair sample for a paternity test. Then to work. I began handing over my duties. Mid-shift I was supposed to tutor Sophie, but Vivian texted to say today's session was cancelled. Perfect. I didn't want to see them anyway. Just as I was about to clock out, Vivian sent me a voice message. Puzzled, I tapped it, and a childish voice rang out, "Tutor, come to Central Park and play with me." Clearly Vivian had staged it. Seems she wasn't content playing second fiddle. I packed up and, almost against my will, drove to Central Park in Manhattan. Standing in the cheerful park, I sank into memories. My family had been poor. Chase brought me here for my first amusement park visit, and it was here he proposed. I bought a ticket and walked to the heart of the park. A giant carousel spun in front of me. I stood on the exact spot where he had proposed. Back then he'd decorated the place, crowds cheering while they urged me to say yes. He said he chose it because I loved it, and he wanted the world to witness our love. Now it was all smoke. Gone forever. I spotted Vivian's group. They were riding the carousel. Sophie sat on her own little pony. Vivian and Chase shared one horse. Their voices drifted over. Chase, this is so romantic. If you like it, I'll bring you here often. He had said the same words to me in this very setting, with me in his arms. Back then I'd felt like the luckiest woman alive. Mom, Dad, hurry and kiss. Let me take a photo. Sophie raised the camera toward them. Chase and Vivian exchanged a sweet smile and kissed. I lifted my phone and snapped a shot, evidence of his betrayal. I didn't linger. At home I began packing. Freedom was almost within reach. Chase returned very late. He hugged me the instant he walked in, making me flinch. I tried to pull away, away, but he only held tighter. Wife, don't move, I need to recharge. He buried his head in my neck. What would I do without you? Guilt after an affair. Disgusting. I fought the urge to vomit and slipped a sleeping pill into his water. When he sank into deep sleep, I took my luggage and left forever. On the hall table I laid the divorce papers. Just before takeoff I texted him, sorry, Sophie's dad. Due to a job change, I can no longer tutor Sophie. Thank you for your care these past months. I hope you find her an even better tutor. Hours later, the plane still high in the sky. Chase finally woke. He rolled over, not finding me. He assumed I'd merely gone to the restroom. But he waited, and I never came back. He jolted awake. Wife, where are you? No answer came. He switched on the light and stared at the empty room. Lost. A glance at the nightstand sent ice through his veins. The divorce agreement lay there. The next second Chase felt the sky crack open above him. He snatched the papers and scanned them. How can this be real? Only when he saw my signature on the last page did the truth slam into him. Wife, Jade. He called again and again, but I didn't answer. Panic swelled as he tore through the house, my closets, my drawers, finding nothing left of me. Wife, don't scare me like this. He fumbled for his phone to call me and saw the message I'd left him. He read it at top speed. She knows. Impossible. This has to be some sick joke, right? Deep down he knew every word was true, but he couldn't swallow it, so he fed himself lies. He fought to keep his hand steady and texted me. A red exclamation mark bounced back. I'd blocked him. He swallowed hard, whispered a prayer, and dialed my number. Pick up. Pick up. The call died. Texts wouldn't leave his outbox either. Only then did he admit I was gone. Chase unfolded the divorce papers again and traced my signature with his thumb. Jade, how could you vanish without a sound? I won't let go. If I don't sign, we're still married. I will find you. His vision blurred. A tear splashed onto the paper. Hours later the plane touched down in Irvine. I collected my bags and slid into the waiting car arranged by the university. First stop, the faculty apartment the college had ready for me. Then straight to meet the dean and department heads. At the meeting I stood and smiled. Hi, everyone. I'm Jade. I'm thrilled to join you. Applause rolled through the room. Welcome to the family, Dr. Carter. Together we'll give our students the best. The session wrapped, and I powered on my phone. Messages flooded in. First came an unfamiliar number. I guessed it was Chase. I'd blacklisted every old contact, so he'd bought a new line. 99 missed calls. Pages of texts. My phone almost froze. I opened his thread. Wife, where are you? What did that message mean? You sent it to the wrong person. Right. There's no way I'm Sophie's dad. There's gotta be a mistake. Call me, please. I can't explain. Line after line of excuses. Not a single worthless, sorry, anywhere. Next were Vivian's texts. Gone was the polite chill she'd once shown me. Now every syllable dripped venom. So you finally figured it out. You're not that stupid after all. I thought you'd stay clueless forever. How does it feel? Your man was mine before you even knew my name. And the little girl you tutored so patiently is our daughter. Bitter, isn't it? If I were you, I'd crawl away and never come back. I could practically see her smirk through the screen. She had every right to gloat. I'd been a fool for years. I gave a sour laugh and tapped the next thread. My former assistant had written, Jade, your husband stormed the agency looking for you. He lost it when no one knew where you were. What happened? Beneath it was a video. I hit play. Chase cornering the director. Where is my wife? She's gone. Are you hiding her? The director stayed calm. Mr. Harris, please settle down. We don't know where Jade went, and she's no longer employed here. She resigned days ago. He reached for his phone to show the email. Chase slapped it from his hand. I don't care. If I don't see her today, I'll shut this place down. The director sighed and picked up his cracked phone. Chase had quietly bought the agency months ago for my sake. I'd kept the news quiet. Mr. Harris, we truly don't know. Ask her assistant maybe. Chase spun toward the staff. Everyone shook their heads in unison. His shoulders sank. The clip ended. I was glad I told no one my plans. Otherwise they'd have led him straight to me. I answered only my former assistant. Thanks for the heads up. Maybe we'll meet again someday. The episode convinced me to scrap my old number and the phone itself. I walked into an Apple store in Irvine, and soon a shiny new iPhone and a fresh SIM were in my purse. The old device went into the deepest drawer of the desk, never to be switched on again. That night, free of buzzing threats, I slept like the dead. Half a world away, chaos reigned. After a sleepless night, Chase still hadn't heard from me. His assistant inched the office door open, trembling. Mr. Harris, we have no leads on Mrs. Harris. Paris. With a roar, Chase swept everything off his desk. Useless. Every last one of you. What do I pay you for? The assistant shrank back. Yes, sir. We'll search again. Find something by sunset or don't bother coming back. Understood. The door shut quietly. Chase tugged his tie loose and checked his phone. Still nothing. The rage he'd wrestled down flared anew. He reopened my chat. The red exclamation mark glared at him. Wife, where are you? Please don't do this to me. He pulled the divorce agreement from his jacket. He'd carried it since the moment he found it, planning to throw it at my feet and make me listen. The paper was shredded by now, crushed that first night when shock had closed his fist around it. Regret washed over him. Next morning I slicked on light makeup and headed to my first lecture. I was still an associate professor, with time and publications. I'd make full professor. Right now I don't have many lectures, but later on, when more students sign up, my schedule will fill up. I was still a little nervous before stepping into the classroom. It wasn't as if I'd never taught before. It had just been so long that I felt rusty. In the end, I walked in with my heart tapping against my ribs. Hi, everyone. I'm your new professor, Jade Carter. When they heard my name, the whispers grew even louder, and heads began turning. I noticed it the moment I entered. One student suddenly spoke up. Professor, there's a missing person post on my phone. Could that be you? Others chimed in at once. Yeah. Professor, the photo looks exactly like you, and the name's the same too. The words jolted me. I pulled out my phone and checked. Sure enough, Chase had posted it. Thanks to whatever strings he'd pulled, it had already traveled as far as Irvine. The caption was painfully heartfelt. I treasure my wife more than life itself. Please help me find her. Without her, I'll die. I found it almost laughable. He'd die without me. Then why hadn't I heard the news of his death? I pocketed the phone and smiled at the class. I haven't handled my personal affairs well, and I've disturbed the lecture. Let's continue. Then we returned to the lesson. The 2-hour class felt like a haze. When it finally ended, I stepped outside and drew several lungfuls of fresh air. I had assumed Chase would have a hard time tracking me down, but now I wasn't certain. While I was still worrying, my phone pinged with an email. I'd changed my number and all my devices, but I'd kept the same email address. It was from the Los Angeles hospital. The paternity report. I almost didn't bother. The answer had seemed obvious. Still, I clicked it open. Probability of paternity excluded. My eyes widened. How could that be? Wasn't Sophie his child? Had I been wrong? My heart twisted for a second, but then I reminded myself, even if the child wasn't his, the betrayal was. What use did I have for an unfaithful man? Meanwhile, Chase had received tip after tip about my whereabouts, and the flood of messages rekindled his hope. Just as he was about to set out for Irvine, Vivian appeared. Chase frowned at the sight of her. What are you doing here? Vivian gave a soft smile and tried to move closer, but he stepped back. Chase, Jade's gone. There's nothing between us anymore. Shouldn't we give Sophie a real family now? Chase didn't answer. His face showed only disgust. Get lost. Don't block me from finding Jade. Vivian lost her composure. Chase, Jade has already left you. Just divorce her and marry me. The next second, Chase's hand shot out and clamped around her throat. Shut up. If it weren't for you, Jade would never have left. I'm going to beg her forgiveness, and she'll give it. Don't dream of becoming my wife. You're the one who told her, aren't you? Once I find her, I'll deal with you. He flung Vivian aside and strode out. She collapsed on the floor, eyes full of venom. So for several days, I continued to teach. Worry coiled inside me. Then, one weekend, someone knocked on my apartment door. Coming. I called out and hurried to change. The visitor, hearing my reply, didn't knock again. When I opened the door, I was yanked into an unexpected embrace. Shock raced through me. It was Chase. I've finally found you. Jade. He exhaled as though a boulder had slid from his chest. I stood frozen. He had tracked me down after all. He loosened his hold and met my bewildered gaze. Only a short time had passed, yet he looked thinner. Wife, how could we ever divorce? He said it as if it were obvious, as if the betrayal were a trifle, as if I were the one who owed an apology. I laughed in disbelief. Chase, you betrayed me. My words choked him. Jade, I can't explain. I was with Vivian before, but when I met you we'd already broken up. Let's go home. From today on I'll never be alone with her again. I was wrong. Give me one more chance, please. His eyes shone with pleading, but I was past being moved. I slapped his hand away. I already gave you the chance. You wasted it. Chase's temper flared. Jade, stop saying things that stab me. He pulled the divorce agreement from inside his jacket. We are not getting divorced. With that, he tore the papers in half. We stay together. Always. Wherever I go, I'll take you. Okay? I felt only weariness. Chase, I have proof of your affair. Letting you sign is saving your dignity. I opened the drawer. took out my old phone, and showed him the photo. Seeing himself kiss Vivian, he couldn't meet my eyes. Chase, do you remember where you proposed? All his bravado vanished. After a long pause he muttered, Central Park. You must have broken your own heart there. I'm sorry. My expression softened into a smile. No, I wasn't heartbroken. I was grateful, because that moment gave me the certainty to leave you. Daddy, a child's voice cut between us. We both turned. Vivian stood there with Sophie. Only then did I realize how easy I'd been to find. Looks like I'll have to move again. Chase rounded on her. Why are you here? Vivian ignored him, her gaze fixed on me. In an instant she dropped to her knees, clutching Sophie, tears streaming. Jade, I know I wronged you. I only want a home for my child. Blame me for everything, but she's innocent. The sudden act startled me. Still crying, Vivian pressed on. Jade, please, since you've already left Chase, let us be. You watched Sophie grow. Do you have the heart to leave her without a family? Vivian, shut your mouth, Chase barked. I knew exactly what she was doing. Of course, every mistress wants to become the wife, but she was fretting for nothing. Chase and I were finished. Sophie, beg your tutor, hurry, ask her to let us be a family. She shoved Sophie toward me. Vivian, I warned you, shut up. She paid Chase no heed. In her eyes, the real enemy had always been me. Sophie had clearly been coached by Vivian. Tutor, please, let us be together. I sighed at the innocent child in front of me. That someone so adorable could be turned into a pawn in a battle for affection made my chest ache. I knelt and stroked her hair. Sophie, I have candy in my room. Your mom and dad and I need to talk. Can you wait in there by yourself? I pointed to the bowl of sweets on the table. Okay. The three of us stepped out and closed the bedroom door behind her. Everything I did was to keep the child from getting hurt. Vivian was the first to lash out. Jade, what do you think you're doing? While she spoke I sent a message to both of them. Check your phones. They pulled them out at the same moment, and the color drained from their faces. What is this? Sophie isn't my child. I'd never meant to expose it, but one of them had gone too far, using the girl as leverage. Before I could say a word, Vivian grabbed Chase's hand. Chase, don't look at that. Clearly it's fake. She just wants to break us up. Of course Sophie is yours. I had a paternity report done back then. Chase shot me a doubtful glance. A couple of sentences from Vivian and he no longer believed me. Leaving him had been the right call. I offered no further explanation. Believe it or don't. I turned on my heel and walked back inside. As soon as I shut the door the shouting started. Vivian, you dared to lie to me? How could you? After I trusted you. Sophie was licking a lollipop when she saw me and trotted over. Tutor, do you want one? I smiled and shook my head. The voices outside grew louder. Vivian's pleas spilling through the walls. Something went wrong with the original test. I swear I didn't know. Tutor, what are mommy and daddy arguing about? She started toward the door, but I caught her elbow. Sophie, you must have misheard. Shall we listen to some music? I slipped the headphones over her ears and hit play. On the other side of the door the war intensified. I treated you well. I treated Sophie like my own. And now you tell me she isn't mine, just some bastard. Vivian was sobbing now. Chase, I didn't mean to trick you. I had nowhere else to turn when her real father abandoned us. I'm a victim too. Victim, a fine victim you are. Playing me for a fool. Let me make this clear. I will never marry you. And Sophie has no right to carry my name. Got it? Even I flinched at the roar. Grateful the headphones muffled Sophie's ears. No, you can't do this. Right now you're the only father she's ever known. If you toss us aside, what will become of us? Chase's voice cooled, the calm more frightening than the rage. You conned me and now you want to keep bleeding me dry. Pack your things and get out of my house. I'm freezing every card I ever gave you. The finality in those words sent Vivian into a collapse. Wails and shrieks that went unanswered. When I felt certain the quarrel had burned itself out, I lifted the headphones. Sophie, mommy and daddy are waiting for you. Go on out. All right. I opened the door and let her pass. Both adults were slumped on the carpet, drained. I ignored them and shut the door again. Their voices seeped through the wood. I'll take Sophie home. Then, Chase offered no reply. Footsteps faded down the corridor. Just as I thought I could breathe, Chase spoke again, inches from the door. Jade, let's talk. A surge of fury shot through me. There's nothing to talk about. Get lost. I shoved my own headphones on. Reasoning with him was impossible. I left him to the hallway and made no dinner that night. When hunger finally drove me toward the door, a message from my former assistant popped up on my screen. Jade, there's a man standing outside your apartment. The attached photo showed Chase, haggard and pleading. He hadn't left. He really intended to camp there. My knuckles whitened around the phone as I answered. Ignore him. Thanks to Chase, I had instant noodles for supper. Next morning I cracked the door a finger's width. Chase sat on the carpet, back against my frame, eyes shut. He'd spend the night. I slammed the bolt home again. I told the tutoring agency I needed several days off. Surely even he would give up eventually. Days passed without my stepping outside, and every evening my former assistant reported he was still there. By the fourth day my nerves were shredded. I yanked the door open. He scrambled to his feet. Jade, you came out. I looked him over. Once crisp shirt rumpled. Eyes bruised with exhaustion. Stubble shadowing his jaw, utterly disheveled. Chase, this is insane. Nothing you do will stop the divorce. A bleak laugh escaped him. Jade, I'm done fighting. I'm willing to sign. What? His sudden about-face left me dizzy. I agree to the divorce. I finally see I'm nothing but a burden to you now. Let me step aside. I opened my mouth, but no words came. He produced a sheaf of papers. My assistant brought these today. I took them without hesitation, uncapped my pen, and signed every page. Pain flickered across his face, yet he swallowed it and added his own name. Neither of us broke the silence until the ink dried. As he turned to leave I whispered, "Thank you for letting me go." Life slipped back into its ordinary rhythm. Lectures when I had them, hobbies and outings when I didn't. Weeks later the new high school across Irvine Lake held its opening ceremonies. In the faculty lounge I caught fragments of conversation. "Have you seen the new principal? Drop dead gorgeous, and apparently his last name is Harris." I kept my eyes on my laptop. The gossip meant nothing. He was a stranger now. Nothing more. Thank you for listening to this story. If you liked it, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to your comments, so don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.